Right. Hey everyone. Topic of this video is going to be about game preservation and the death of retro gaming. That's basically what we're going to be basically discussing today. Um, so basically, I want you to think about your favorite favorite game from childhood. Maybe it's Metal Gear Solid, or maybe it's Spyro, maybe it's some obscure PS2 game nobody remembers. Right now, ask yourself this, if that game never got a digital re-release, could you still, play today if you didn't have the original hardware or whatever? Um, you know, here's the thing. Uh, I'm sorry. Here's the thing. Physical media isn't just about ownership. It's about history. It's about preserving art. And with Sony seemingly killing discs and digital storefronts shutting down left and right, we are walking into a future where entire generations of games or whatever could just disappear forever. This isn't a boomer game rant. This is a genuine crisis, and nobody in the gaming industry is seemingly doing enough to help. And obviously, we're going to explain why. So let's start with a perspective. How many of you remember the Wii Shop Channel, or the DSi store, or the PlayStation, or the PS3's PlayStation store before they tried to shut it down? Those digital stores are dead or dying. Also, that's another thing. Sony, they also mentioned that they were planning to shut down the PS3 and the Vita store as well, in addition to them announcing that they were basically going to kill physical media. And with them, hundreds of games are now completely inaccessible. But here's the difference. Back then, most games still had physical copies. You could, hunt down either a Wii or a DS cartridge, and sometimes it was a pain, but you know what? You could still do it. You could still do it. And now we're entering a generation where games are digital only. No disc, no cartridge, no physical version ever existed. And when the servers go down, that game is gone. Period. This isn't hypothetical. Remember PT, the playable Silent Hill teaser? It was free, digital only, and pulled from the store within months. Now it's completely unplayable unless you have a PS4 that obviously still has it installed on it, and if that hard drive dies, it's gone forever. That's not a game preservation issue. That's digital extinction. All right, getting into part two. Corporations, they do not care. They do not care about history. Now you might think, well, Sony or Nintendo will preserve these games, right? No, they won't, because preserving history doesn't make them money. It's like they'll happily sell you a remaster or a classic collection for $60, but the original version, the one with the weird glitches, the cut music, the outdated voice acting, that's a liability. It doesn't fit their modern brand. It's not, clean enough, so they bury it. Look at what Nintendo did with Super Mario 3D All Stars. They released a limited time collection for Mario's 35th anniversary, then pulled it from their digital stores after 1 year. 1 year. And they never released it physically in a meaningful way. They manufactured artificial scarcity for a digital product. That's not preservation. That's a cash grab dressed up as celebration. And Sony, they're just as guilty. Remember when they tried to shut down the PS3 and Vita store entirely? They tried it before. They're saying they're doing it again. They only backfired because of massive backlash. But the intent was clear. They don't care if old games become accessible. They care about your money, not your memories. right? Getting into, why physical media, physical media and stuff is important. This is why physical media matters, more than ever. A disc, a cartridge, a CD, these are physical objects. They don't rely on servers. They don't require authentication. You plug them in and they work. But obviously only if the console supports them. And that's the next problem. New consoles are dropping backward compatibility with physical media. The PS6 won't have a disc drive. The Xbox Series X already has a digital-only version. Nintendo is moving further away from cartridges with every generation. We're losing the means to play our old collection. And think about books. Imagine if every book was digital only, and they could just delete your library remotely. That's the world we're heading toward. And here's the kicker: game preservation isn't just for nostalgia; it's for research. Game developers, they study old games. Historians study them. They're cultural artifacts, like films or music. But unlike films, games are interactive. You can't just watch a playthrough. You need to play them to understand. The Video Game History Foundation has done incredible work documenting lost games, but they obviously can't save everything. Without physical copies, without discs and cartridges out in the wild, entire pieces of interactive art will vanish, and nobody in the corporate world gives a damn. Um, and then getting into the illusion of cloud gaming. Oh yeah, and then there's cloud gaming. Sony and Microsoft are pushing streaming hard. Project X Cloud, PS Now, whatever they rebrand it to next. The promise, you get to play any game anywhere, no hardware required. But the reality of this is that you don't own anything. You're just renting a visual stream, which is arguably not really a good stream, depending on your, not really depending on your internet or whatever. Basically, if the service shuts down, the game is gone. If they lose the license, the game is gone. If your internet drops, you can't play it at all. At least with a digital download, you got the files on your hard drive. With cloud gaming, you've basically got nothing, not even a license, just permission to watch the game be played on a server somewhere. That's the end game, folks. Not just losing discs, losing the concept of having the game altogether, and that's what terrifies me. So what can we really do? Do we just accept and watch our history disappear? No, obviously not. We fight back, and here's how. One is support physical releases. Buy them, even if you don't open them. Just vote with your wallet. If a game has a physical version, especially from limited run games or other boutique publishers, support it. Two, archive your stuff. Rip your discs. Back up your files. I'm sorry. Rip your obviously the legally acquired disc. The discs that you bought and everything. Back up your files. Use external hard drives, and if you can, keep older consoles alive. Three, support organizations like the Video Game History Foundation. They're doing the work that these corporations simply refuse to do. Four, push back against digital-only monopolies. Complain on social media. Leave comments. Make noise, which is exactly what people are doing towards Sony regarding their tweet and decision that they made like 3 or so weeks ago about killing physical media. You obviously saw what happened with the PS3 store closure. They listened, and they'll listen again if we're loud enough, and hopefully they will. All right, getting into the conclusion. Look, I'm not saying every game needs to be preserved. Some games are bad. Some are forgotten for a reason. But the choice of what survives shouldn't be left to corporate accountants. It should be left to us, the people who actually care about games as an art. So, here's my challenge to you. Go dig out your old games. Take a picture of your collection. Share it in the comments. And tell me the one game you'd save if everything else was deleted. And if you're a younger gamer who only knows digital, go find an older game. Play it, experience it, understand what you're losing. Because this isn't just about nostalgia. This is about protecting culture, and we can't afford to lose it. So, hit like if you agree. Subscribe if you want more deep dives like this. And I'll see you in the next one. Where we're talking about, the used game market war, or whatever topic that I choose to discuss. Okay, thanks for watching. Keep your history close and never stop playing.